Okay, so welcome to TMP, the Mentorship Project. Thank you guys for being here, and also just thank you for joining us and signing up to just have such a big role in like um, rising seniors' lives this year. So just thank you so much for that. And welcome. So basically, I'm just going to do a quick overview of what the Mentorship Project is. You guys probably already like know something because you signed up for this, but I'm just going to reiterate it for you guys. All right, so what is the Mentorship Project? So the Mentorship Project is a national organization, and it seeks to kind of like close the education gap or the achievement gap. So we basically provide underprivileged rising high school seniors with free, remote, and personalized college admissions counseling, and we do this through a bunch of different initiatives. So these are our initiatives. The first one you guys are all a part of, which is amazing, our supportive mentorship network. So this is the main thing that you all will be contributing to. Essentially, we match mentees and mentors together, and we make it such like a nice support system. So rising high school seniors can really get like that support that they really need throughout the college admissions process. The second initiative is informational workshops. So we do webinars, panels, different like video engagement like platforms and mediums to sort of equip students with anything that they might need that they might not get from your mentorship or that they might need like more information about. So that's for the informational workshops. And then our third initiative is like resources. So we have a bunch of different things that we're planning and that we already have on our social media page and website. So that includes like databases, financial aid, like lists and things like that. Infographics. So again, like check out our Instagram page for that. Videos, worksheets, and literally just anything that we can think of that would help anyone going through the process, the college process at this time, especially during a pandemic. Yeah. Okay, so our teams and committees. So I won't read all of the committees out loud because that might be a lot. But the main committee that you will all be like working with, if you have any questions or concerns, would be the mentorship committee. Again, this is the committee that like matches you with your mentees. So yeah, but these are all of the committees that we have for the mentorship project. And if you want, you can also reach out to any of these committees as well. Yeah, so again, we're like an organization made by students for students. So this is why we kind of separated ourselves with a bunch of different committees dedicated to supporting certain areas of the mentorship project. Okay, so now I am going to go into just briefly like defining what a mentor is, specifically like a part of TMP, like what exactly does it mean to be a mentor with our organization? Okay, so I looked up a Google definition of mentor, and it basically said an experienced and trusted advisor. Now, this is a very basic, I feel like very basic definition of mentor, and I definitely think it has a lot of different components to it. So yes, you are an advisor, right? Like you're supposed to answer questions and basically give a lot of advice, right, to your mentee. You're also supposed to use like your knowledge and past experiences to sort of mold your advising. And you're really supposed to like guide your mentee on the path to success or the path to college. So yes, advisor is definitely part of your job, but you are also like a teacher in a sense. Maybe not like an actual like school teacher, if that makes sense, like developing curriculum, all that stuff, no. But you're a teacher in terms of like informing them of information that they may need help with. They might come to you and ask you, what does EFC mean, right? What is expected family contribution? And then it is your job to sort of inform them about that. And if you don't know, look it up, contact someone, and really help give your mentee the guidance that they really need to succeed. Tell them about a bunch of opportunities that you know of, that you are a part of. You've been through this process before, so you really know a lot, and all of your contributions, everything is super valuable. And then lastly, but not like last in my heart, you are a supporter. So make sure to cheer them on and be there for them, not only for their college admissions and acceptances, but also for their possible rejections or wait lists or deferrals. Really support them. You are there for them. They may be struggling, they may have certain home circumstances going on, or just things that they're dealing with at the time. Please acknowledge that they are human beings and really treat them with so much respect and kindness. So why is mentorship so significant? You guys probably know this again, but there are three things that I wrote on the slide. So one is knowledge, right? So both you and your mentee are learning from each other through this process. The second one is comfort. So the mentee will know that they have someone that's there for them, like I said on the last slide. And then third thing is connection. So you may be able to form like a lifelong connection or relationship with them, depending on how well you're communicating with them, and just a relationship building that we will be talking about soon. And then lastly, here are some like key tips for your mentorship. So one, it is definitely up to you and your mentee to decide how or when you will communicate. So you guys like make sure that you're keeping like a schedule for yourself, or just a way in which you guys will have like a sort of communication route or just way for you to keep in touch. Also be super empathetic and cognizant of your mentee's circumstances. So please know that your mentee, again, is a human being, and they may have stuff that's going on currently while you're mentoring them, or especially since we're just in a pandemic and a lot of stuff is going on with politics, police, just so much stuff is happening right now. So please be mindful of that and how that may affect your mentee. Also, don't be afraid to say that you don't know things, right? Like if you don't know anything or about like a specific subject, or you have a question yourself, please feel free to reach out to us, or reach out to someone you know that may know about these things, or even do your own research. Use Google. Try your best to gain that knowledge so you can feed that back to your mentee, because you don't want to say like wrong things to your mentee. Like that's the last thing we want. Yeah, and then the fourth tip is just try your best to help as best as you can. This may mean answering questions, reviewing essays, checking in, sharing resources, etc. And then lastly, please be aware of your energy. This kind of goes along with the idea of being super mindful and aware of your mentee circumstances, but stay approachable. Be aware of like your body language, how you're looking, like your facial expressions. Try not to like shun them away at all, or just make sure that you don't come off as rude at any time, and be super respectful in that area. And yeah, so that's essentially my section. I will pass it on to Melissa.
Hi everyone. So I'm going to be talking about your relationship building and like mentorship 101. So these are the different steps that I'll be going over in the next few slides. So first is establishing expectations. By now, I hope that you guys have already like met, or you all have already met with your mentee, or have started to schedule a meeting with them, so that you guys can first get to know each other and establish a relationship aside from not the like mentor mentee, so that you understand how they are and they understand how you are. And with that, you should, on that same meeting, you should clarify anything that you think will help both of you guys throughout the whole process. Next, it's assessing needs. You as a mentor should make sure to, you could actually just like ask them like, what exactly can I do for you, so that you both are like using your time wisely and you're not just wasting it, and you can actually be of help to them and make sure that their college admissions process is smooth, or even smoother than yours was. And by that, you should be looking at like what they're interested in and like getting to know them more, and so that you can better serve your mentee. Next is setting goals. You and your mentee should prioritize which areas of college admissions advancement that they want to tackle first. This will look different for every mentee because they are all in different steps for the most part, and they don't really have the same level of experience and exposure. This means that you have to be flexible with them. And you guys can actually like set a goals like Google Doc or like any like actually writing it down. So making sure that you guys actually tackle the goals that they want. Staying in contact. This is very important. Please do not ghost your mentee. I hope they don't ghost you either, but please do not ghost your mentee. Make sure to find out what time works best for them, schedule meetings, and make yourself available to let them know that you are there for them. Yeah, just let them know. And whether that means scheduling monthly meetings, Zoom calls, texts, or anything of that sort, and making sure that each of you guys are still in the same track and you're keeping them on set and making sure that their goals are being met and making sure that they're okay and everything like that. Next is listen, listen, listen. Please, just listen to them. Just listen. Your role as a mentor is to guide your mentee to the most seamless college admissions process possible. That being said, you can do so much. Be sure to be mindful of your mentee's wishes and make sure you are not forcing your own ideas and values on them. Make sure that they get their point across to you and make sure that you actually process their point and take it into consideration. Don't just put it to the side, but make sure that they are doing like turning in the essay that they like actually are happy with, not just things that you've said to them. Making sure that they are fine just in general and doing like things in school, extracurriculars that they want, and don't force anything on them. Accountability. Please stay accountable. Staying accountable is perhaps
I think the audio cut out for a little bit.
you're fine. Staying accountable is perhaps the most important aspect of making a mentor-mentee relationship work. If you promise to do research or provide a resource to your mentee, please do that as soon as you can because they're waiting for that resource. They're actually in the process. Unlike you, that you're probably already in college or something, or just in college, they need that resource to continue to move along and get to where you are. But at the same time, your mentee should stay accountable to you as well. Like, make sure to keep them updated with what you're doing and make sure that they know that to keep you updated as well. Mandatory guidelines of at TNP. Be mindful of each other's time. If you guys say that you're only going to meet for an hour, then only meet for an hour. If you have to go overtime, make sure that they have the time to do that, or make sure that you have the time to do that. And if you're gonna go like under, that's fine, but make sure that like you guys actually use that time efficiently. And next is always show respect. I think this kind of goes without like saying, but just make sure to respect each other. Like, don't say anything negative. Stay respectful. And last is be be open-minded. Be open-minded to like what they tell you. Don't just diss their ideas. Make sure that you take their opinions and ideas into consideration. And that doesn't mean like you shouldn't say anything to them, but like you can also like state your thoughts and ideas, but just make sure that you're open to the fact that they might not want certain things or like they do. I don't know. But just stay open-minded. And now I'm going to pass it back to Sheila, who will go over the college process overview.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa. I'm going to briefly go over the college process overview. I know we are all familiar with it, but it has been a while. So just a quick refresher for all of us. All right, so by the end of this month, August, you should have already met with your mentee and gone over what the rest of their year is going to look like. So what, if any, schools and scholarships are they planning on applying to, and what do they need to prepare in order to meet those certain deadlines? If you've not already done so, please schedule a meeting with your mentee. And if you have any questions, please contact our mentorship chairs, Leilani and Yelena. And I know some of us have not been matched to a mentee yet, but I believe matches will be done by the 31st if you applied in August. So moving on to September, essays are key during this month. Mentees should review the essay prompts as soon as possible and spend some time outlining their answers before sitting down to write their essays. So communication during this month is critical, because it would be a bummer if the week before November 1st, your mentee was trying to squeeze in over 30 supplements to several schools and they needed your help. They needed you to read all of them. So being on top of that, especially right now, even before September hits, is key. By the end of October, seniors should have already taken the SAT and ACT if they are planning on submitting test scores and applying early action or early decision. If your mentee is a junior, also encourage them to take the, sorry, I see there's a question. I'll get to that in a bit. But if your mentee is a junior, also encourage them to take the SAT, ACT if that's something that they're interested in. And another thing that happens in October, FAFSA, it opens up October 1st. So reminding your mentee about the importance of the state and the fact that they could get more money if they do fill it out early, would go a long way. So just be on the lookout for that time. Maybe set something on your calendar reminding you that FAFSA open. And also, like, for we're in college too, like we need to reapply for FAFSA, so just be on the lookout for that and let your mentee know at the same time. And Destin, I see that you wanted to answer that question.
I'll just type it out. I'll type it out.
Okay,
Thank you,
cool.
Bill.
All right, so next. In November, it should be a little slow, especially since early decision and early action and early decision applications are due on November 1st for most schools. So it should be a little slow, but if they are planning on applying, RD still going over those essays with them. Regular decision, if they're still planning, if they're applying regular decision during the regular decision pool, for that pool rather, just, you know, keeping up with them on their essays and all the other supplements that they need to submit. So fast forward to March. This is probably the most nerve-wracking part of the college application process, and that is college decisions. So once they've heard back from the schools they've applied to, it's time to sit down and actually decide which school is best, which school is a fit. And this feeds a little bit into April. But factors such as financial aid and location, prestige, alumni connections, all that sort of thing, and course offerings, major offerings. These are all factors that have influence on your mentee's college decision. So this is really the period to narrow down on that if they've not already committed to a school. And also, like Denora said earlier, this is also a period in which hopefully we get a lot of acceptances, but just holding their hand towards the end, and, you know, being an anchor for them if rejections, waitlists, deferrals, in March, waitlists, rejections, if those are received by your mentee, just holding their hand and just being kind, because they will need it. But in May, that's sort of the end of our season. They're, you know, looking for a work study job, taking AP exams, taking final exams at school. So this is really a wrap, but making sure that they are committed to a school, or if they're in the Army, they do have a plan. If they're enlisting in the Army, they do have a plan, or something. It depends on your mentee, right? But yeah, just being there for them till the very end is prime. So some things your mentee may ask you for help with, the personal statement, supplements, navigating financial aid, college list, and application logistics. So I know some of us have strong suits in some areas more than others. So with the personal statement and supplements, if you feel like your advice isn't supporting your mentee as much, encourage them to sign up for essay drop-ins, essay webinars to check those out. That way they are getting multiple opinions and more advice from everyone else that's part of TMP, right? So we are a community, so just so don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions if you're not super confident with your writing abilities, right? But as far as financial aid goes, I know some of us didn't do our own didn't fill out our own FAFSA application or CSS profile. So if you have any questions, please attend the financial aid workshops if your mentee cannot do so, and reach out to the executive board and we will help you. We will get someone to help you with that. We will get someone to help your mentee with that, more importantly. So yeah, that's really it for now. But if you do have any questions, please reach out to someone on the executive board. Additional opportunities to talk about with mentees. So QuestBridge. The application is due late September. I highly recommend, well, if your mentee is a first generation or low income student, and their total family income is less than $60,000, I believe, I would recommend that you recommend QuestBridge to your mentees. QuestBridge has matched with up to 42 partner schools. And in this process, if they do become a finalist, they can match up to 12 schools and get a full ride to one of those institutions if they do get matched to the schools. So if QuestBridge sounds like something that your mentee would be interested in, I highly recommend that your mentee do that, and you take the initiative to relay that information to them. Other big scholarships, the Gates Scholarship, Jack Can't Cook, Coca-Cola, Horatio Alger, etc. These are all applications that are due in the fall, and they do meet the student where they are. I know the Gates Scholarship meets students where their needs are. So let's say that they did get a full ride to an institution, but it doesn't cover indirect costs. The Gates Scholarship would cover that, right? So telling your mentees about these sorts of scholarships, all this money out there, would be very beneficial. For more resources, please check out our Instagram at Mentorship Project. And yeah, so last thing, contacts. This is our Gmail, info.mentorshipproject@gmail.com. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And if you would like to talk to a higher up, you can contact our CEO and founder, Abby Ramiro, at this email that's listed here. And if you have any questions related to mentorship, relations, and events, reach out to Leilani and Yelena at their respective emails. All right, and that's about it for our presentation. And we are going to open the floor to any questions that you may have.